Did you know that nearly 60% of new leaders fail within the first 2 years? Shocking, right? The transition from being a team member to a leader can be harder than most expect. And it's not because they're not qualified, it's because they make the same mistakes over and over. Here's the kicker. 70% of new leaders struggle with one key issue that can completely derail their success: not understanding how their actions impact their team. It's a big deal, yet it's something most new leaders overlook. In this video, we'll dig into the biggest mistakes new leaders make, ones that often go unnoticed until it's too late. We're not talking about the usual, be organized, advice. We're diving deep into the real reasons why leaders fail and how you can avoid them. From the danger of being too nice to the mistake of trying to do everything yourself. These are the hidden traps that could cost you your leadership success. Stay tuned, because what you learn here could be the key to not only surviving but thriving in your leadership journey. Let's get started. Chapter 1. The tyranny of nice, why being too friendly undermines your authority. Being a new leader can be overwhelming, especially when you want everyone to like you. It's tempting to play the nice guy to avoid conflicts, but this can backfire. According to research, over 70% of employees say they respect leaders who can make tough decisions, even if it's not always what the team wants to hear. When you over-prioritize friendliness, you risk losing the respect that comes with strong leadership. Leaders must strike a balance between being approachable and maintaining authority. A study from Harvard Business Review suggests that clear boundaries and expectations are key to earning respect. When you're too friendly, your team may begin to see you as one of them, rather than as their leader. This leads to a lack of direction and accountability. It's not about being harsh, but about establishing professional distance. Leaders who try to please everyone create a culture where performance is secondary to personal feelings. It's a fine line. Be kind, but remember that your primary role is to lead. One famous quote by leadership expert John C. Maxwell is, "People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care." But remember, they also need to know you can make tough calls when needed. In practice, you can be friendly without losing control. Listen to your team's concerns, but avoid making every decision based on their comfort. Setting clear expectations for behavior and results will help them understand where you stand. The real trick is consistency in how you apply rules and give feedback. If you're always the nice leader, it may be harder to demand results when necessary. Chapter 2. The Overload Trap. How taking on too much can sabotage your success. When you're new to leadership, you might feel like you have to do everything. It's common for new leaders to take on too many tasks themselves, thinking it'll show their dedication. But according to a study by Gallup, leaders who delegate effectively are 33% more likely to have engaged teams. Overloading yourself can result in burnout and missed opportunities. Delegation isn't just a way to lighten your load, it's an essential leadership skill. If you try to do it all, your team may start feeling underutilized or unimportant. In fact, leaders who delegate well have more trust from their teams, leading to higher job satisfaction and productivity. By involving others, you create a culture where everyone feels responsible for success. Effective delegation starts with trust. In Leaders Eat Last, Simon Sinek emphasizes that a great leader trusts their team to do the job, even if it's not done exactly the way they would do it. Delegation also helps you focus on bigger picture tasks, like strategy and vision. If you're stuck in the weeds of day-to-day tasks, you won't have time to lead effectively. A key part of delegation is clear communication. Let your team know what needs to be done, by when, and to what standard. This reduces misunderstandings and ensures you're not micromanaging. It's also important to let go of the idea that you're the only one who can do something perfectly. It's okay to have things not go exactly as planned, as long as the outcome is still good. Chapter 3. Silent Authority. Why your nonverbal cues are saying more than your words. Leadership isn't just about what you say. It's about how you carry yourself. Studies show that 55% of communication is nonverbal. What you do with your body, your eyes, and your tone can influence your leadership effectiveness. Your posture, facial expressions, and gestures all send strong messages about how you lead. Imagine you're walking into a meeting, but your shoulders are slumped and your eyes are down. That sends a message that you're not confident. On the other hand, standing tall, maintaining eye contact, and smiling shows that you're in control. A study from the University of California found that leaders who exhibit confident body language are perceived as more competent, regardless of their actual performance. Nonverbal cues also help build trust. If you say one thing, but your body language says something else, your team will notice. If you claim to be open to feedback but avoid eye contact or look impatient when someone speaks, they'll feel dismissed. Leaders need to align their verbal and nonverbal messages for maximum impact. A classic example is Steve Jobs, whose body language and calm demeanor communicated confidence and vision. Even when he was challenging Apple employees, his posture and tone signaled that he was in charge. People can often read these cues better than words themselves. So, be mindful of how you present yourself. If you want to appear confident, make eye contact, stand straight, and be intentional about your gestures. These small adjustments will make a huge difference in how others perceive you as a leader. Don't forget to subscribe for more leadership tips that could take your career to the next level. Chapter 4. The Imposter's Paradox. Faking confidence can cripple your growth. It's easy to fall into the trap of pretending you know everything. A study from the Center for Creative Leadership found that nearly 60% of new leaders struggle with imposter syndrome, where they feel like frauds despite their accomplishments. It's tempting to fake confidence to hide those feelings, but this can hold you back from genuine growth. Faking confidence can make you seem distant, unapproachable, and unwilling to admit mistakes. When you pretend to know it all, your team can sense that you're not being real. Leaders who admit their shortcomings often earn more respect and trust from their team. According to Dare to Lead by Brené Brown, vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. Being honest about what you don't know is essential. When you openly seek feedback or ask for help, you show your team that growth is a continuous process. This builds a culture of transparency and encourages others to do the same. If you constantly try to fake confidence, you'll miss opportunities to learn and grow. It's also important to recognize that no one expects you to be perfect. People respect leaders who can admit mistakes and learn from them. Just like you encourage your team to improve, you should model the same behavior. The key to overcoming imposter syndrome is shifting your mindset. Focus on growth, not perfection. Chapter 5. Failure to adapt. How stubbornness in leadership hinders progress. One of the biggest mistakes a new leader can make is sticking rigidly to a plan, even when it's clear it's not working. A study from McKinsey shows that organizations with flexible leadership are 5 times more likely to thrive in a rapidly changing environment. Stubbornness in leadership can prevent you from seeing new opportunities or adjusting when needed. Leaders must be willing to adapt, especially in today's fast-paced world. The Lean Startup by Eric Ries emphasizes that being flexible and responsive to feedback is key to long-term success. If a strategy isn't working, don't be afraid to pivot. Holding onto a failed approach can hurt both your team's morale and the company's future. Adapting doesn't mean abandoning your goals, but rather adjusting the approach to reach them. If you're resistant to change, you could miss out on new technologies, strategies, or insights. Leaders who embrace change inspire innovation within their teams. It's also important to remain open to criticism and feedback. A flexible leader listens, learns, and adapts. In Leadership and Self-Deception, the authors argue that self-awareness is the first step to adapting your leadership style. By understanding how your actions impact others, you can make adjustments that align with your team's needs. Adaptability is more than just a buzzword. It's a critical skill for staying relevant and driving progress. Embrace the mindset of continual improvement, and encourage your team to do the same. Chapter 6. The Feedback Blind Spot. How ignoring constructive criticism ruins your leadership. Many new leaders are uncomfortable with feedback. A study from the Harvard Business Review found that 57% of leaders shy away from feedback because they fear it will be negative. But avoiding feedback can be a huge mistake. Constructive criticism is vital for growth, and ignoring it limits your potential as a leader. Feedback helps you see blind spots you might miss on your own. It also builds trust between you and your team. When you ask for feedback and act on it, you show that you value others' perspectives. Leaders who actively seek feedback are seen as more approachable and open-minded. In Thanks for the Feedback, authors Douglas Stone and Sheila Heen argue that receiving feedback is a skill that needs to be developed. It's not about taking every criticism to heart but using it to improve. The best leaders know that feedback is a tool, not a judgment. One mistake new leaders make is interpreting feedback as a personal attack. It's essential to separate yourself from the message. Constructive criticism is about the situation, not your worth as a leader. By developing a thick skin and seeking out feedback, you'll avoid this trap and grow faster. Regular feedback also fosters a growth culture within your team. By modeling openness to criticism, you create a space where everyone feels comfortable learning and evolving. Leaders who ignore feedback risk stagnation and alienating their teams. If you found these tips useful, make sure to subscribe for more insights that will elevate your leadership game.